Hey, it's Jae Daniel with RecordingStudio.com, and I'm here with another take. We've got this mix session here that I've started. I've only got things imported and named and color-coded. I haven't gotten anywhere further. We got our markers in. We've only heard this thing twice while we were getting a static balance and then getting our roadmap here. Before I really do anything and start mixing, I need to have this thing set up so that I can mix quickly. So color codes, markers, and a little bit of balance, which you can see here. Nothing fancy. All this stuff subject to change later. But now I want to set up my control groups. And that's over here in this little quadrant. Right here. If you're working in Pro Tools, I'm going to show you how to set up control groups. So the very first thing that I did here is I have my rhythm section grouped together, and I want to keep those together in a group so that if I decide to grab a fader, it pulls down all the faders. If I decide to make a decision in processing, I can decide if I want that to be across the whole group or not, and I can do that here with a control group. Two ways you can make a group. Make sure that your tracks that you want together are highlighted. New group, and here you can see the hotkey. It's going to be your Mac key G. And since I have my tracks highlighted, they're already showing up in the group that's being created. Here's my default group name, which I want to change to rhythm section here. And then the other thing I want to take a look here is this is saying that I'm going to be following globals. And if you click on globals, this is showing you what that is. So every volume change I make, if I mute, those are going to mute all of the channels that are in this group. If I wanted to, I could add pan. But in this instance, I'm not going to want everything to pan together. I'm going to want to make those decisions independently. And then also, here's some additional attributes. So if I were to unclick Follow Globals, now I can set up individual controls on each one of the inserts. So for example, if I instantiated a plugin on one of them and I wanted to make changes, it would do it to all of the tracks with that plugin. A good example of that is if you have a stereo track, say a piano stereo track, and you're going to throw EQ on that piano. Well, instead of having to instantiate two separate EQs and adjust them independently, trying to match them, you can easily just throw up one of them, and when you change the EQ on one track, it changes it on the other. So that might be an example of when you do that. And you can pick and choose what inserts you want that to happen on. In this example, though, I just want to follow globals. I only want my volume and mute to follow that with this group, and click OK. And now I've got a rhythm section. So if I click, I've unhighlighted. I can move this fader independently. If I highlight it, now all the faders move, everything mutes, everything solos, just like I told it to. And I'm going to do that same thing all the way across. Here I got my piano. I'm going to do that same thing across this entire session. There they show up here. Piano. Check my globals. Again, I'm going to want to leave the pan unchecked because I'm going to end up putting one to the left, one to the right. So I don't need to have those together. And for now, I'll leave these attributes also grayed out. We'll follow the globals. These are all things you can come back to later when it comes time to dealing with each one of these individually. So I'm going to do that across the entire session. You should do the same. This just makes it super easy to grab something like the Oz, which as you can see here are many tracks, and rather than having to grab every one of these individually, I can simply set up a group and very quickly get balance in larger chunks, saving a little bit of time. So that's control groups. I hope you found that helpful. I'm Jae Daniel with RecordingStudio.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again with another tip.